Hello everybody, this is Mary Catherine at my own little house. I'm in my studio and this is going to be a very short video this week because I have company coming this coming weekend and I have to clean the house like a crazy woman because I'm not much of a housekeeper, so it's time to I am taking my dust mop and cleaning the dust off my walls. It's that bad. So just to be honest and straightforward, I do a lot of things, but keeping a very clean house is not one of them. But I've done a little spinning. I'm gonna show you the two hanks that I produced from, this is the almost the end of what I have cleaned from that brown uh, Shetland fleece that I have to clean so much. And it's been a bit of a pain. It's a fairly short staple. It's got a lot of little nibs in it. And anyway, I'm realizing that my frustration is just having to go through such a process of cleaning and processing to get to the spinning and plying point to get where I can even think about making the sweater. So I think for a little bit I'm going to take a break and spin some fleece that I bought, and I'm gonna launch into this. This is some Nube. Is that right? Nube. This is the Malabrigo. Where's my glasses? That sound is Trixie scratching herself. Tricky, be a good girl. Okay, this, boy, I should keep track of which one is which. Candome. Well, I don't know which one is which at this point. One of them is Candome and one of them is Mandragora. I don't know. I think I'm probably going to apply them together. I bought this a year ago. It's probably about right. And then I read about it. Anyway, it's really beautiful. I love the colors, but I did read on some of my spinning sites that this stuff is a pain to spin because it doesn't want to separate. It stays all bound up together. So I went ahead and took it out of its packaging. This is the other. One of the colors is more autumnal. Okay, it's got blues and purples and oranges and a lot of stuff. And this one has the same colors really, but has more blue. I may try to spin them together. I don't want to get mud, as they say. I'm going to try to as I spin, keep the colors a bit more together, and as I apply as well, if I can. No, that would be hard to do, wouldn't it? Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But I am gonna pull this apart before I'm gonna pre-draft it, I guess you could say. That's what they call it. Just separate it out, get it loose. I want to get it loose before I start spinning, very gently. Don't want to. This even has some green in it. I don't want to make a wad of these fabrics, but I do want to get them separated so that when I'm spinning, it will come apart easily. I would love it if this turned out to be one of those gorgeous spins where the colors do wonderful things instead of one of those ugly spins where it does all turn to mud. This is merino. It's very soft. I bought it. It wasn't too expensive. I bought it in Virginia at a lovely yarn store up there that I found by happenstance. Anyway, if I have some time this week, I'll start spinning this up. Isn't it fun? That even has purple in it. Look at that. I think it should be super cool. And I would love to have some success with it. And I appreciate the forewarning from fellow spinners that it needs to be processed a bit and worked and loosened before you start. Okay, well, if I have anything else to show you, I'll let you know. Thanks, and I'll see you next week. Okay, so I've finished two more hanks. This is one of them, of my brown roving. Two nice full bobbins applied together. So there's one. Let's fold up the other. According to my calculations, I still don't have nearly enough to make my sweater. And it just doesn't seem possible when I look at at all these hanks in this bag. It looks like an incredible amount of yarn. I don't know. I guess I could go ahead and start it. And then when I run out, which I must do, I can just make more. Keep on going. Alright, so here's my second hank. I mean, maybe because it is pretty chunky yarn, there's not as much in these hanks as there seems to be. I'm twisting it till it starts to twist back on itself. And then you put one in through the other. Y'all know how to do that. Okay. There's two more. I do love the variation of color in there. It's not like that nut brown roving, which was kind of more monochrome. This is a lot of fun stuff. Kind of bumpy. All right, well, we'll keep on going, but I might start on that sweater. We'll see. Okay, I've been spinning this Malabrigo for a little bit and trying to keep my colors a bit together. And what I mean by that is, so here's my big old piece of, I don't know if you call this roving or whatever this was they sent me, and I've kind of separated a long chunk out. And because I didn't see a repeating pattern for the colors really, which I don't know anything about how they make this, so I wouldn't know. But I'm trying to spin across the piece, opening it up like this. And so I spun all of the blue first and then all of the lavender. Kind of when I would get to a color change, I would just separate and then add on more of what was the previous color, you know, the color I've been working on, and then finish all of that before I moved on to a new color. So I finished up some purple that was in there. There's still some more of that, but I'm going to work myself across on this orange before I move on. But I think the most important thing to do is not to put this on a hackle or a comb, because if you did, all these colors would just get totally blended together. They would lose their individual tones, and you would end up with a very muddy single as you spun. So hello, Tricky. So that's what I'm kind of that's one thing I wanted to make sure not to have to do, and that's why I have opened it up. Once you get a feel for the staple length so that you can draw it out, boy, that helps a lot. If you hold it too close together, then you're not going to be able to do that. So like at this point, I could just tear that off, get another piece down here that has more orange in it, start back up, give it a little twist that it'll join together. But if you keep your hands far enough apart, am I showing you that on? Yeah, you can see it, okay. If you keep your hands far enough apart, you can draft that out and get, I am not super picky about the width of my, I'm not trying to keep everything totally consistent. I used to try to do that, and I have friends who do it, you know, folks do it as thin as they can possibly get it. That's fine. I see I've come to some of that dark blue, so I'm going to stop there and go, there's a little bit of that lavender left, but I'm going to go ahead and get this orange, and then I'll continue on with that. No, there's some more. I should get that orange too. Okay, so we'll see how this goes, but I think this will give me a much better finished product if I at least keep these colors in blocks. I think that may be how they say it. I'm trying to treadle relatively slowly so it gives me plenty of time to work through these colors this way. You do have to kind of keep your mind on it more than if you were just spinning some roving that was all one color. If you're used to doing that kind of thing, this takes a lot of concentration compared to that. That takes almost none after a while. This is very beautiful. It's extremely soft, as you would expect very good merino to be. And, you know, everybody says that this Malabrigo Nube, I think is what they call it, is just, it's wonderfully soft. That was a little too thin. But they just found it a pain to try to spin it straight from that big chunky, if you want to call it roving. I wouldn't call that roving. It's certainly not roll legs. I don't know what you'd call it. It's too big to spin straight off of it, in my opinion. Let's see, I'm still doing a good bit of orange. Now see, I'm going to go over and get this orange. That's almost golden. Okay, all that to say, I'm finding this very spinnable with a little bit, just a little bit of preliminary work. Let me go back and get this. This, if you spun this, it would give you such fabulous practice in stopping, starting, and joining. Now, what is that? Looks like one of my husband's beard hairs. Oh, let me move this down since I'm stopped anyway. This gives you those singles that are so smooth looking. All right, looks like we're moving down into some dark purple now. That's perfectly fine. We'll do that for a bit. Okay, yeah, this really encourages you to, I've got my right hand back here by my hip. And it really encourages you to kind of do that long, do what I call a long draw, where people have their arm halfway across the room. But this really does, the further back you get your hand, the better you'll be able to draft this. Some of this I haven't even, that's a little bit thick for my taste. Well, the cat and the dog are about to be naughty in here. We'll probably have a ruckus, and they'll probably, yep, there goes Leo. He's trying to tease Tricky, and he's probably going to knock over the camera stand. So we will call it quits, and I think I'll probably end this video with this. Okay? Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week with a beach trip. Oh, yeah. Hey, Leo. Are you trying to give the impression of being a very good cat? You, Tricky.